This is video number 80 for bass students, and in this video we are going to learn C natural. Now you might be thinking, where do you learn C natural? You learned C natural on the A string. That was just like the F natural and D string. That was two fingers on the A string in first position. Now you're going to learn C natural on the G string, okay? So have your bass really well in tune with a tuner. If you don't have a tuner, use a tuner app. Hopefully you found one that works for you. And let's talk about, I'm going to kind of scoot up close here, let's talk about our fingerboard up here on the G string. So we talked about, remember, there's three positions for every note: sharp, natural, and flat. And to take a sharp note and make it natural, we need to make it a lower pitch. Sharp's the highest, natural's in the middle, flat's the lowest. So go to third position on the G string, put high D down, okay? Now pick up two fingers and now you're playing C sharp, okay? So if this is C sharp, we need to make C sharp natural. Sharp to natural, we're making it lower. To make a note lower, we go closer to the scroll. So this right here, C natural, that easy. Now there are various ways to play C natural. What you're gonna play right now is you're gonna play it in third position with first finger. If you're one of my students, you have these two fat red tapes here, okay? C natural, C sharp, high D. Play just 4 C naturals. Look at your tuner, one finger. If you don't have all those tapes, a lot of times teachers will not put that first finger tape. They'll only put 1, 4, and then 2 and 4. It's not going to go on a tape, okay? It's not in the same place. It's not in the same place as that. So this is where B was. It should be separate from where B is, okay? One finger here. C natural. Echo me. Look at your tuner. C, 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 C. Now, I want to show you something about C. C can be played here, it can be played here, or it can be played here. Notice I'm putting my finger in the same place every time. You need to start thinking about where notes live on your bass, not how to play them, because there are many different ways to play them. Do you remember when we learned Ode to Joy and we learned a new way to play this A? We learned to play it over here, right? Okay, well, we're going to learn to play C different ways on the G string. I want you to play C with 4 fingers now. It's in the same place. Make it match this pitch. Oh, C, 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 C. This is a position called second position. When your second finger is on that second fat tape there, okay, or if you don't have that skinny tape there and you just have 1 and 4, if you're one of my students, you have all of these. If you're not, you might only have 1 and 4, okay? When your second finger is where a B normally goes, like this, that is second position. What am I playing right now? This is B, because look, that's where B was. This is B. Now if I put 4 fingers down, now I'm playing C. Not C sharp, C natural. Play 4 C naturals. And go. C, 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 C. So that's second position. Now I'm going to scooch up just a little bit. I'm going to play that same note with 2 fingers. This is still C, listen. But I'm playing it with second finger. This is second and a half position. So let me show you again. Here we have second position. C is played with 4th finger. B is played with second finger. See that? That's where the B is. Now I'm going to move to second and a half. C is played with second finger. B is played with first finger. Okay? Now I'm going to move to third position. We can't play B in third position. We can play C in third position. Okay? So now look at your book. Look at number 130. How is the book telling you to play C? It's telling you to play it with first finger. Now let's kind of review the key signature and the natural sign thing. Okay? So the key signature says D major, which means all F's are sharp and all C's are sharp, unless you see a natural sign, right? So now, all F's are sharp, all C's are sharp. Well, let's look at your first note. It's not a C sharp, is it? The natural sign is right in front of it. When you have a note that is not part of the key signature, such as this C natural, because the key signature says all C's are sharp, it's called an accidental. That's a term you might want to remember, okay? For, coming up for later on and things, okay? A note that's not part of the key signature is called the accidental. No, it wasn't an accident. The composer very specifically put it there for a reason. I don't know why it's called an accidental, but it is called an accidental. and it lasts for the whole measure. So actually look at number 130. Do you ever play anything but C natural in number 130? No. All of those C's are natural. There are no C sharps. Even though the key signature says all F's are sharp, all C's are sharp, the natural sign says no, they're not. Not for this measure, not for this measure, not for this measure, not for this measure, okay? Because the natural sign appears at the beginning of every measure. You don't need to shadow bow 130. Let's just play it. One, because it's just one finger in third position for our note C natural the whole way. 1, 2, 130, and go. C, 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 C. Easy, yes? Now look at 131. Look at your key signature. It says that all F's are sharp, all C's are sharp, unless you see a natural sign. So look at measure 1, high D, C sharp, high D. Measure 3, high D, C natural, and then high D. It's very much like 127. You're just up in third position, okay? And 1, 2, let's shadow bow this one though, shadow bow. Go to third position, 4 fingers down for high D, right C, shadow bow, D, C sharp, 2 fingers, rest, lift, D, now C natural, 1 finger, back to high D, and back to the beginning, D, now C sharp, high D, rest, lift, D, now C natural, 1 finger, to rest, okay? Now, if you don't have all these tapes, definitely be using a tuner, okay, so that you can see if your C natural's in tune. And remember, if you don't have all the tapes, please don't put it on a tape that doesn't belong. Don't put it back there and play a B. Make sure you're actually playing a C, okay? All right, we're gonna go ahead and move on. Oh, we need to play that with me. Play that with me. And 1, 2, 131, with me, go. D, now C sharp. Rest, lift. D, now C natural. Back to high D, 2, rest. Repeat, and D, C sharp, rest, lift, D, now C natural. Okay, going on to 132 now. Now 132 also says D major, which means all F's are sharp, all C's are sharp, unless you see a natural sign. Now here comes that other unless, right? So measure unless the sharp sign takes over. So look at measure 1. Look at measure 1. You're playing high D, then C sharp, C sharp. Look at measure 2. The first note C natural. Then the natural sign's still good. So the second note C natural. Now look at the third note. The sharp sign has come and taken over. So then you have 2 C sharps. Okay? High D, this is beginning. High D, C sharp, C natural, C sharp, C sharp. High D, look at measure 3. 2 high Ds, and what about those Cs? There's no natural sign. What do? We look at the key signature. The key signature says all F's and C's are sharp, so that C is sharp. Okay? Same idea on that second line. Second line, first measure, high D, then C sharp, because nothing else appears in that measure, so you go by the key signature. Look at measure 2. First note C natural, second note C natural. And now, second line, second measure. This one's a little bit tricky. We've got to shift back down to 2.5 position. You did this when you learned this. Remember that song? Okay, you learned 2.5 position. 2.5 position, and I reviewed it in this video too, is when first finger goes where the B is. Okay, and the reason they have you shifting just to there, because look, there's a second line. C sharp, C natural, then the B. Little shift because you're going right back up. There's no reason to go all the way to first position there. That's just a waste of a shift. Do a tiny little shift back to the B and then back. Okay? All right, shadow bow from the beginning. 1, 2, shadow bow, and go. High D, C sharp, C natural, back to C sharp, high D, C sharp, now slow bow, half, note. Now second line, high D, C sharp, C natural. Now scoot it back just a little. Sorry. C sharp, high D, get my stool back out to sit on. My arm, I kind of messed up there because I was moving. Okay, let's try playing that now. If you think you need to shadow again with me, go ahead and do so. Okay, play from the beginning with me. 1, 2, 132, and go. High D, C sharp, C natural, C sharp, high D, C sharp, slow bow. Back second line, high D, C sharp. And get ready for this little shift. Shift for B, shift back up, C sharp, high D. Okay, now that one might take a little bit of time, especially that second line, all right? Make sure you understand where to shift, and then it's a tiny little shift, just to second and half position, and then right back up. Get that one really good before you try your next video, because the next one you're gonna have to shift to that second half really quickly, okay? So make sure you're really good at that one before you try your next video.